Hey, ever wish you could just talk to your computer and it would do all the typing? Well, with voice recognition, if you can speak, with voice recognition software, you can do just that. Or can you? Well, especially if you can't speak. With us today, we have Aoife McAvoy from PC World Magazine, and she is going to show us the new voice recognition software that comes free when you get Microsoft's new Office XP. How you doing, Aoife?
I'm doing fine.
Cool.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you for having me.
It's not a problem. You can speak a lot better than I can, I'm sure.
Well, some people would disagree with you.
No, well, you've got a nice little accent going on.
Me with an accent? You're the guys are the ones with the accents, not me.
I know. It's Iowa. It does it to you. Oh, so, okay, voice recognition. What is it? What does it do?
Voice recognition is a technology that lets you talk into a microphone hooked up into your sound card, and you can turn your ramblings into text on the screen. So this is good for people who can't type or who have disabilities and can't use their hands. The limitations are that you can only do a certain amount with your voice. You end up having to use the keyboard at times for certain tasks.
So it's not necessarily something that solves everything. I mean, you still kind of have to use the mouse every once in a while on the keyboard.
Yeah, and especially with Office XP, you've got this great new feature where you can turn speech on in your Word files or in your Excel files, but you still have to turn to the keyboard to do certain things.
Sure.
Like moving in between applications or making corrections on the fly if it mishears you.
Well, how does it work?
Well, you need to invest in a headset, which you plug into your sound card.
Okay.
Voila.
And that's just like instead of using a regular microphone, you use something like this?
Yeah, it's better to use something like this because you've more control over where you can position the microphone.
Okay.
With one of the stick microphones, you end up leaning a little bit. You may introduce some kind of variable. So it's better to use a headset microphone where you can stick it on your head, keep it in one spot, and you don't have to worry about any kind of extra noise coming in there.
Oh, sure. That makes sense. I know we were kind of playing around with it before. You had done something, it was called training it.
Right.
Why do you have to do that?
Well, basically, it's not going to work right out of the box. You have to let the software know about how you talk, how you pronounce words, your intonation, your worky pronunciation. And you have to invest maybe 15 minutes or more to make sure that the software can pick up your different pronunciations.
Okay.
And in the case of myself, I definitely pronounce things a little bit differently. So it needs to get to know the way I say things, eerie as that sounds.
How do you go about training it then?
Basically, when you open Microsoft Word in Office XP, for example, the speech capability isn't loaded by default. You have to go in there and say, hey, I want to use speech. So you go into Tools, you drop down to Speech, and the training will begin.
Can we see the voice recognition in action?
Sure.
That's
we
the cool
can.
part.
So basically, the training involves you reading a bunch of paragraphs, one after the other, and it'll pick up on your pronunciation and then process your voice.
And you've already kind of gone through this with your
I've
microphone.
gone through one piece of training and an extra piece of training just to boost it up a little bit.
Sure.
So let's give it a go.
Okay. This is the fun. Woo.
So you turn the microphone on.
Okay.
And you click dictation.
Okay.
Hi, Chris, : new paragraph.
It's working. That's okay. Okay, I'll be quiet.
This is a test : new paragraph. Chris, you made the most beautiful cookies yesterday, . Thank you very much. I didn't realize you were such a good baker, . New paragraph. Thank you for having me on call for help, . New paragraph. Thanks again, new paragraph, Aoife. Voice command. Voice command. Select all, bold, underline. So what I did there was go in between giving dictation and making a couple of commands. Make that thing bold, do some formatting.
That was neat.
So it can pick up exactly what you're trying to say, whether it's a dictation piece, something you want to say in an email, or you actually want to do some formatting.
And this is, of course, the one that came... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You were on a roll. Did you have something to say there?
No, I was just going to say, with the other programs, sometimes when you give it a command, like bold, it'll assume that that's a word that you want in the document. So here, at least, Microsoft has made an effort to distinguish the dictation commands versus the formatting commands.
Okay, so that's the difference between the two, then, dictation and voice commands.
Right.
Okay. When you were talking about this is the one that comes with Office, is it, on the scale of software, is it high up there, or are there things that are better, are there things Where does it sit on the scale of software?
It sits pretty much on the basic level.
Okay.
You get this for free, so here's what you get.
Okay.
You can dictate emails, you can dictate letters, you can go into Excel and spiel a bunch of numbers, but that's no fun. It's probably easier to type.
Sure. Now, I also noticed too, gosh, you want to go, and I'm sorry, I have all these questions. It spelled your name wrong.
It did, yeah.
It's
not surprisingly.
And how do you spell your name?
You spell Aoife, A-O-I-F-E. Now, in this case, when it makes a mistake, you can go in and correct it on the fly, but you need to use your hands.
How would you make the corrections then? Do you just like...
Okay, I'll show you.
Okay.
Basically, when you review your document, you select the word that you want to change, and you have to do this by hand. You can't do it by voice, unfortunately.
Okay.
So in this case, let's turn the microphone back on.
Okay.
Correction. And as you see, the correct spelling isn't there, so I need to just type that in myself.
Okay. See, now you can see how we spell Aoife's name. That's neat. So this is something that comes with Office XP. Is it a good way for people to get started with voice commands and dictation and whatnot?
Most definitely. This is a great way to get your feet wet. Check it out. Put on a microphone. Start talking. See how far you can get. And especially, if you can, put more time into training. Microsoft gives you the option to read a bunch of different things, like Aesop's Fables, for example.
Yeah.
So you read excerpts from that. It picks up what you're saying, and it digests your speech files.
That's when you're training it to your voice?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And the thing about the other programs, like Dragon Naturally Speaking or IBM's Via Voice, they're, $100 or more. They give you much more capabilities with your voice.
Okay.
You can browse the web. You can turn on speech to text in Word, which
so it's
you can't do in this.
More robust.
It's more robust.
Okay.
You can do more, and it'll be much better as far as accuracy goes.
Do you have any tips for better performance with voice stuff?
In the case of Office XP, Microsoft recommends that you have at least a Pentium 400 running.
Okay.
And you should also have 128 megs of RAM if possible.
Right.
And obviously, the faster the processor, the quicker it's going to turn out your ramblings into text on the screen.
Could I give it a shot? I know it's not going to work because I haven't trained myself.
It's all yours.
All right. So what do I start with? You're going to give, okay.
Say dictation.
Dictation. Hello, everybody. This is Chris. Hey, I got it correct. See, it said I got it correct. Oh, it's going to make it stop. How does it stop?
Say voice command.
Voice command. It just wants to keep going.
Say voice command.
Oh, voice command. Eckert Bartlett. Who's Eckert Bartlett? I think it's a good new nickname. Very cool. Voice command.
Say it again.
Voice command. Oh, Rick Boyd Canadian. All right, I think that's I need to train it, obviously, for my voice. But that's kind of neat. It comes with Office XP, and, of course, you've written an article for us